Hello, Greg. It's me. How are you doing?
You're just gonna hello yourself?
This is Brianne.
Hi.
Brianne Chandler?
That's my last name.
Chandler. Brianne is Miss Movies everywhere. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. She's also, she recently won a singles match in the movie trivia Schmoedown.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, she's badass. She rocked some cool outfits on there. Hey, Brianne.
Hey, Greg.
Have you heard of this movie called Hounds of Love?
No. But man, does it have anything to do with the Hound of Game of Thrones? Because I'm in.
Maybe.
Okay.
It looks like it might be a British movie or something. I don't know. A lot of people were requesting this.
It says Stephen Curry, Emma Booth, and Ashley Cummings. I don't know if I know any of those names.
Those all sound like British people.
But when we see this, maybe I'll be like, oh yeah, I know her from this.
Maybe it's a scary trailer.
Hey, love.
Maybe it's a scary
You want a
trailer.
lift?
True crime
You're
horror.
gonna write a letter to your parents. Say that you've met a bloke and he's got you a ticket to Adelaide.
We see kids run off like this every day.
Sex workers now,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
You think she's prettier than me?
Whoa.
He doesn't love you.
You lie.
He just uses you.
You should do it together. There's just something about you makes me want you all to myself.
Let's go in there and have a little bit of fun.
That is uncomfortable.
Even a minute, I was like, nope, too long.
Too long for me. It sounds like it's about a couple who kidnaps a girl and they do sexual things to her. Let's just make sure we got the right description. Hey, you have IMDb here. Vicky Maloney is randomly abducted from a suburban street by a disturbed couple. Yes. As she observes the dynamic between her captors, she quickly realizes. How do you spell realizes?
It is.
Not a Z?
No, that's always something
What?
that bothers me too.
She must drive a wedge between them if she is to survive. That's a fascinating plot right there. Is that not something you would watch?
I'm not going to watch this because I'm very, like that trailer, I definitely had chills at one point. This is something, I feel like I shouldn't be watching this. When they were talking in the beginning about like, you're gonna write this letter that you met someone or whatever, it reminds me of the Fritzl case out of Austria. Do you listen to this?
I'm not familiar with the Austria case that you're referring
remember
to.
that guy, let me back up a little bit. Remember that guy in like Ohio that had those 3 girls? I think it was Ohio, and then that one man like found them and they had been missing for a long time.
I've heard
this
many
was, like,
stories
recently.
like that, but I haven't heard this recent one.
And they were gone for years, like 15 years
shit.
or,
Were they alive?
or something. They were alive.
Okay.
One of them had a kid with him. They were abducted by him. Room is based off of the Fritzl case. The Fritzl case comes out of Austria, where a man imprisoned his own daughter for 30 years, I want to say. I want to say 30 years. I believe had 7 children with her, all under his house. Like, he had this area under his house. He like locked her in there. The mom thought that she like left, she wrote a letter, like he had her write a letter that was like, I've joined this cult and I'm leaving this baby with you to care for. It's the most disturbing case that I have ever read about in my life.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
It was something like 6 or 7 children. None of them ever saw the light of day. The daughter, they convinced him that the daughter was going to die, and that's why they needed to get out from below. And maybe it wasn't 30 years, maybe it was 19 years or something. It was a long time.
Oh, that's not too bad.
But basically, she convinced him that this girl needs to leave because she needs to get to a hospital.
Right.
And that was the first time
I
they
did
left.
hear this one. Yeah, I did hear this one. Yeah.
And that's how they got
what
out.
I found. Yeah, I remember that now. I remember that plot.
This makes me think of that story, and I'm like, I cannot like live through all those emotions. Just reading that story, I've never had more emotions about like something that's happened to someone in my life.
Well, this isn't as bad as, I mean, it's still pretty horrible.
It's horrible.
I mean, this is fascinating to me. When I was younger, Like right when Netflix was launching their streaming, there was a series on there called Serial Killer Couples or something.
Okay.
And every episode was like a documentary, an hour-long documentary about
they did have
couples.
Fritzl on one.
Yeah, couples that were killers. And I was fascinated with it. I watched like many episodes, and I'm kind of drawn to stories about serial killers or people who capture. Not a big fan of like stories that involve, you know, molestation or rape. I'm not. But when it comes to like killers, people who just kill, I could get into that.
Do you listen to My Favorite Murder podcast?
No, I've heard of that.
You gotta get into that. Gotta get into that. It's hilarious. I mean, they talk about real they talk about real killers, but they're two comedians, so they go about talking about it in such an interesting, informal way.
Here, to me, I think the acting looks dynamite.
Yes.
I think the acting looks incredibly superb. I just think it's a solid type of plot. I mean, this must be like a 90-minute, 100-minute movie. The concept of a girl who's a woman who's been kidnapped, and the only way to survive this or get out of this is to drive a wedge in between her two captors is such a fascinating. Like I feel like this could somewhat play out kind of like a play if it's primarily in the home, because we don't see too many other locations. At the police station, they're talking about possibly burying her in the woods. Other than that, though, I feel like most of this is probably going to take place in the home and with a lot of solid dialogue. And I'm also drawn to movies where characters, like, they don't necessarily arc. Well, it is an arc, but it's more like a deterioration arc where they just get worse and worse, the human beings by the end. Yeah, they evolve into something worse. And a lot of these serial killer couple stories, it's usually the wife or the girlfriend who's the first one to start like snapping out of it or breaking or trying to get out of it in some way. And it looks like that's the path that it's going down here.
The emotions that I felt inside my body for 1 minute, like to go from 0 to 60 within a minute. Now maybe you didn't see that on the outside, but I was like, oh no.
This looks very disturbing. I'm kind of glad this wasn't a Red Band trailer, because I can only imagine like what graphic violence or sexual misconduct is going to take place in this film. This doesn't look like the kind of movie that's going to shy away from things like that.
No.
This looks like a very uncomfortable, unsettling experience. It's one of those movies where you get into a conversation with someone where they're like, why would you want to put yourself through that? And I'm there going, I don't know. I find it entertaining for some reason, so I'm going to go watch it.
I want to see if this is already rated. Oh, the Parents Guide. Let's go over the Parents Guide. You've never done the Parents Guide?
What the hell's that?
Okay. Hey, guys. Here's what the Parents Guide is on IMDb. When you're a parent, sometimes you need to know what are the things that are going to be showing up in this movie you might not want to show your children. First of all, probably not going to want to show your children this movie.
I'm not going to show them this trailer.
But the guide is going to tell you all the things you're going to see in this
film. And this is it right here?
Normally, it
well,
will go through like specifically. You're going to see a rape scene. You're going to see like, and it'll be very specific about that scene.
Sex and nudity, violence and gore, profanity, alcohol, drug smoking, frightening, intense scenes. This sounds like a really delightful family film.
Another tip, if you want to kind of spoil it for yourself, which sometimes I do, I look at the keywords in a movie as well, and then I know like, oh, someone's going to be eating a finger in this film. And
also, I'm really drawn to the way the film's shot too. It's shot really neatly. Like all the framing of it, the cinematography looks absolutely excellent. Like creepy but beautiful.
Like even just this shot that we're looking at, it's like when you pull it up, it's like the shot that you see that's like click play for trailer.
Yeah.
Like even that shot with like the wallpapering and her against the wallpaper.
It's a good representation of what the film is actually right there.
Yeah. This trailer.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see how all the things play and how the main characters are all playing their cards throughout. I think I'm gonna watch this movie.
Can we check out Ben Young, who's the director and the writer? Let's see what else he's done, if this is his first film.
It is his first film.
All right.
He's worked on the shows Trapped, Castaway, and Prank Patrol. Solid. Prank Patrol
looks amazing.
I love how this Prank Patrol show is such like a comedy prank show. And then you got this like gritty, realistic, violent Hounds of Love movie. Alright, well, yeah. Hey, thanks for recommending that our way. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click the notification bell. Yay. Brianne
Nice.
Chandler, Miss Movies on the internet. That's YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Go check her out everywhere. And hey, we recently launched a Patreon account. We got a lot of fun things on there that you guys would really love. We're doing more. We're gonna have exclusive video content on there. I'm gonna make a little announcement soon, but there's gonna be a lot of exclusive videos on there, so. Winkety wink wink. That's how I wink. That's why I don't pick up girls at bars. Hey, babe.
That is a little frightening.
That was his hand thing.
The hands alone. They're like raptors.
Yeah.